Welcome. Be sure to like and subscribe for more scary stories. I'd like to thank everyone for the ongoing support of my channel. I have not made any progress with YouTube yet, but have actively appealed the decision to remove monetization. I will keep everyone updated on the situation. Until then, it's going to be business as usual with story releases. Without further ado, today's story, Verification Accepted, by the Curator. I need to tell this story before I lose the ability to type, before my fingers stop being mine, before I become what Emma is now. My name is Daniel Cross, and I'm a data security consultant. Or at least, I was. These days, I'm not sure what I am anymore. Maybe a cautionary tale. Maybe already dead and too stubborn to notice. This all started 6 months ago, on what should have been our anniversary, October 14th. Emma and I should have been celebrating 12 years of marriage at that overpriced Italian place she loved. You know, the one with the terrible breadsticks, but the wine that made everything else worth it. Instead, I was sitting alone in our apartment, staring at her empty chair, trying to figure out how to keep breathing. The accident happened 3 months before that. They called it a freak occurrence, a catastrophic failure of an automated delivery drone that lost control and crashed through the windshield of Emma's car while she was stopped at a red light. The statistical probability was something like 1 in 40 million. She died instantly. They kept telling me that, like it was supposed to be a comfort, like the speed of her death somehow made the infinite crushing absence of her life easier to bear. It didn't. I'm not going to pretend I was coping well. I wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating properly. My work suffered until I stopped getting calls altogether. I'd spend hours just scrolling through our photos, playing her voicemails on repeat, sleeping on her side of the bed so I could smell the fading scent of her shampoo on the pillow. My friends, our friends, had stopped reaching out after I'd blown up at them one too many times. Even Emma's parents had gently suggested I might benefit from some space to process. Everyone wanted me to move on, to heal, to accept reality. But here's the thing about being a tech person in the age of AI and digital immortality projects and consciousness uploading theories. You start to wonder if death is really as permanent as everyone says. You start to think about all the data we leave behind, all the digital footprints that persist after the body stops. You start researching things you shouldn't. That's how I ended up on the dark web. I'd always had the technical skills, obviously. Part of my job was understanding security vulnerabilities, knowing how to navigate encrypted networks, staying ahead of bad actors. But I'd never used those skills for anything like this. I started with the grief forums, the normal ones, surface web stuff. Then I found the weirder ones. The fringe communities talking about contacting the dead through EVP and quantum communication. The people who claimed to have AI reconstructions of lost, loved ones. None of it worked. The AI chatbots felt hollow, responding with Emma's vocabulary, but none of her essence. The EVP recordings were just static and pareidolia, my desperate mind finding patterns in noise. The quantum communication theories were pseudoscience wrapped in technical jargon, preying on people like me who wanted to believe that physics could somehow bend around grief. I went deeper. Tor browser, encrypted connections, forums that required invitations and cryptocurrency just to view, places where people discussed things that made my skin crawl. But I kept looking anyway, because grief is a kind of madness, and madness doesn't have boundaries. That's when I found the link. It was buried in a thread about alternative bereavement solutions on a forum I probably shouldn't name. Just a string of random characters that resolved to a .onion address. No description, but someone had commented below it. If you're serious about getting them back, this is the only real option. But you need to be ready to pay. The comment had 17 upvotes and no replies. Something about that silence felt significant, like everyone who'd clicked the link had nothing left to say. I should have closed the browser, should have gotten help, should have done literally anything else. Instead, I clicked. The site that loaded was called PactForge. The interface was surprisingly clean. Dark background, crimson text, a logo that looked like a medieval seal rendered in glitching, corrupted pixels. There was a welcome message that I'll never forget. Welcome to PactForge, where desire meets transaction. All contracts are binding. All debts are paid. Post your request or browse our public ledger. Remember, the price is always fair, even when it doesn't feel that way. Below that was a forum structure. Threads upon threads of requests, each one more disturbing than the last. I started scrolling, my stomach tightening with each post. Seeking terminal illness for my sister's husband. Can provide detailed medical records. Will offer standard terms. 17 responses. Want eternal youth. Willing to discuss creative sacrifice options. 143 responses. Need someone erased. Not killed, erased. No memories, no records, no existence. Price negotiable. 8 responses. Revenge on former business partner who destroyed my company. Want him to lose everything like I did, but slower. Much slower. 31 responses. The threads went on for hundreds of pages. Some were marked fulfilled in pulsing red text. I clicked on one of those. The original post was from someone asking for wealth, specifically to win a lottery. The responses were a mixture of skepticism and what looked like genuine negotiation. But then, about halfway down, there was a post from an account labeled Verified Contractor. The avatar was a strange, shifting sigil that hurt to look at directly. The message read as follows. Terms accepted. First verification task. Retrieve soil from your childhood home's foundation at 3 a.m. on the new moon. Bring it to the crossroads at Helm and Dolores. Wait. Second verification task will be provided upon completion. Remember, you asked for this. The thread continued with the original poster documenting each task. The second involved stealing from a church. The third required them to vandalize a memorial. Each task was photographed, time-stamped, witnessed by other users in the comments who cheered them on like it was some kind of game show. The thread ended with the original poster confirming completion of 7 different verification tasks, each one more elaborate and disturbing than the last. The final post, dated 3 weeks after the original request, simply said the following. I won $47 million, but I can't remember my daughter's name. When I look at her pictures, there's just static. What did I agree to? No one had responded. The thread was locked. I clicked on the user's profile. It showed their avatar, a grayscale photo of a man in his 40s, but the face was blurred out. Their last login was listed as archived. Their post history showed they'd been an active commenter before making their request, offering advice to other users, warning them about scams. A normal person who'd gotten desperate. Just like me. I should have left right then. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to close the laptop. throw it in the river, and check myself into therapy. But grief isn't rational, and I kept thinking about that anniversary dinner I'd never have, about Emma's laugh, about the way she'd scrunch her nose when she was concentrating on something, about the last voicemail she'd left me, complaining about traffic and saying she'd be home late, but that she loved me, and to start dinner without her, about how I'd give anything for just one more conversation. So I created an account. The registration process was more involved than I expected. It required a cryptocurrency deposit, 0.05 Bitcoin, roughly $3,000 at the time. It also required a PGP key for encrypted communications and what they called a verification of intent. Basically, you had to upload a photo of yourself holding a handwritten sign with the current date and the phrase, "I accept the terms." The terms, when I finally clicked through to read them, were written in dense legal language that seemed to shift and blur when I tried to focus on specific clauses. Something about willing participation in the verification process, acknowledgement of binding contractual obligations, and consent to digital integration upon fulfillment. I didn't understand half of it. I told myself I'd figure it out later. I did it all. I was probably crying while I did it, but I did it. Then I made my post. I need to speak with my deceased wife one more time. One real conversation, not a simulation, not an AI recreation. I need to know she's okay. I need to say goodbye properly. I will trade anything. My soul, if that's what it takes. I just need one more conversation. I hit submit and stared at the screen, my heart pounding. Part of me expected nothing to happen. Part of me hoped nothing would happen. 60 seconds later, I had a response. Not in the public thread. That stayed empty. Instead, a private message notification appeared in the top corner of my screen. Encrypted chat request from an account called Contractor Null. My hands were shaking as I accepted. The chat window opened, and for a moment there was nothing. Then text began to appear, character by character, in that glitching crimson font. Hello, Daniel Alexander Cross. Born June 3rd, 1989. Social Security number 574-88-XXX. Current address, 2847 Oakmont Drive, Apartment 4B. You live alone now, don't you? Since Emma Rose, Mitchell Cross passed away at 2:47 p.m. on July 14th at the intersection of Harbor Boulevard and Crescent Street. She was listening to that podcast she loved, the true crime one with the annoying host. Her last thought was annoyance at traffic, not fear. She never knew what hit her. Does that comfort you? I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. No one should have known that level of detail. The podcast, I'd never told anyone about that. I'd learned it from the police report, from the data recovered from her phone. It wasn't public information. I typed back with trembling fingers. Who are you? The response was immediate. You know who I am, Daniel. You've always known. You just needed to be desperate enough to look. I'm the one who answers when people stop praying and start bargaining. I'm the one who fills out the paperwork when heaven isn't taking applications. I'm middle management in the eternal bureaucracy, and business is very, very good. You're saying you're actually the devil? I typed, my skepticism fighting with my desperate hope. A devil. One of many. The org chart is complicated, and honestly, after the restructuring in the 16th century, nobody really knows who reports to whom anymore. But yes, I'm what you mortals would call a demon, and I'm authorized to negotiate terms for your requested service. An avatar appeared in the chat window, a flickering, glitching thing that seemed to shift between different forms. Sometimes it looked vaguely humanoid, sometimes like static and corrupted data. Sometimes like something I couldn't quite process, something that made my eyes water if I looked directly at it. "Can you really let me talk to Emma?" I typed. "Can I? Yes. Will I? That depends on whether you're willing to pay the price. Your soul is the traditional currency, but that's actually not what I need from you, Daniel. Souls are a dime a dozen these days. Everyone's so eager to trade them away. No, what I need is something more interesting." "What?" "Verification. Proof of commitment. See, we've had a problem lately with tire kickers. People who make requests but don't follow through. It wastes everyone's time. So now we require completion of verification tasks before we fulfill any contract. Think of them as a trial period. Complete them all, and you get your conversation. Fail, and the contract is void. Simple. What kind of tasks?" "Oh, they'll start small. Manageable. We're not unreasonable, Daniel. We're professionals. The first one is easy. I need you to go to Forest Lawn Cemetery. You know the one, 3 miles from your apartment. I need you to vandalize a specific grave. I'll send you the coordinates. Just some light desecration. Spray paint will do. Consider it a down payment." I stared at the screen, my stomach churning. "I'm not doing that." "Of course you are. Because you know what the alternative is. You spend the rest of your life wondering, replaying every conversation you didn't have, every word you didn't say, every goodbye you were never given the chance to make. You'll die someday, Daniel. Probably sooner than you think, given how you've been living. And you'll die knowing you had one chance to speak to her again, and you threw it away because you were too squeamish to spray some paint on a rock." The avatar shifted, and for just a moment, I could swear I saw Emma's face in the glitching pixels. Just a flash, but enough to make my breath catch. "Besides," the text continued, "you've already accepted the terms by creating an account and posting your request. The contract is binding. You can choose not to complete the tasks, but that doesn't void our agreement. It just means you pay without receiving the service. And trust me, Daniel, you don't want to know what happens to people who welch on deals with us." "What happens?" "Digital dissolution. We're very modern about it. We delete you. Not kill you, delete you. Every record, every photo, every memory anyone has of you, you just stop having existed. Your parents won't remember having a son. Your friends won't remember knowing you. Emma won't have had a husband. You'll still be conscious, still be aware, but you'll be living in a reality where you never were. It's quite unpleasant, from what I understand. Now, shall I send you those coordinates?" I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, staring at the chat window, watching the cursor blink in the message field. The coordinates had appeared automatically. 37.3417 degrees north, 122.0898 degrees west, along with a plot number and the name on the headstone. Richard Vandermeer, 1947 to 2019. I Googled the name. Richard Vandermeer had been a local philanthropist. He donated millions to schools and hospitals. By all accounts, a genuinely good person. There were articles about his charity work, photos of him cutting ribbons at new community centers, obituaries celebrating a life well lived. Why would anyone want his grave vandalized? I spent hours trying to rationalize it. Maybe the grave was symbolic. Maybe Vandermeer had done something terrible in secret, and this was some kind of cosmic justice. Maybe this was all an elaborate prank, and there was no actual demon, just hackers testing how far desperate people would go. At 3 a.m., I was still sitting there. At 4 a.m., I'd convinced myself this was all an elaborate hoax. At 5 a.m., I'd opened a new browser window and started researching digital deletion theories, trying to figure out if what the demon, or whoever it was, had described was technically possible. The research terrified me. There were theoretical frameworks for it. Memory manipulation through targeted electromagnetic pulses. Quantum entanglement theories that suggested consciousness might be more distributed than we thought. Systems that could scrub someone's digital footprint so thoroughly that search engines would forget they existed. None of it was proven, but none of it was impossible either. At 6 a.m., I drove to a hardware store and bought spray paint. Forest Lawn Cemetery closes at dusk, but the gates are just decorative. I parked 2 blocks away and walked in just after midnight the next day, wearing gloves and a dark hoodie, feeling like a criminal, because that's what I was becoming. The plot was easy to find. It was a modest headstone in the older section, surrounded by towering oaks that blocked out most of the moonlight. I stood there for 20 minutes, just holding the can of black spray paint, trying to make myself do it. This was insane. This was criminal. This was desecrating the resting place of a man who'd done nothing but good in his life. A man whose grandchildren probably visited this grave, whose widow might come here to feel close to him. But then I thought about Emma, about her voice, about the way she used to read me terrible poetry in exaggerated dramatic tones just to make me laugh, about the last time I'd kissed her, rushed and distracted as I left for work, not knowing it would be the last. I spray painted a crude symbol on the headstone. It was some kind of sigil that had appeared in my chat with Contractor Null. My hands shook the whole time. When I was done, I took a photo as instructed and ran back to my car, certain that security or police or someone would stop me. No one did. I uploaded the photo to the chat when I got home. The response was immediate. Verification, task 1, complete. Well done, Daniel. See? Not so hard. Just a little moral flexibility. A tiny compromise. The next task will arrive in 48 hours. Get some rest. You're going to need it. I threw up in the bathroom and didn't stop shaking for an hour. The second task came exactly 48 hours later while I was trying to work. I'd gotten a freelance contract, probably out of pity. The chat window just appeared on my screen, overriding whatever I was doing. Verification, task 2, recruitment. PactForge runs on a referral model. You need to bring us 1 new user, someone desperate, someone willing to post their own request. You have 7 days. Here's a tracking link to provide them. Make sure they complete registration. That's it. Simple networking. I'm not dragging someone else into this, I typed immediately. Daniel. We've been over this. The contract is binding. Besides, think about it rationally. You're not dragging anyone anywhere. You're providing them with an opportunity, a chance to solve their problems, just like you're solving yours. Everyone deserves that chance, don't they? Who are you to deny them? This is wrong, is it? You made your choice. Why shouldn't others have the same freedom? Or is it only acceptable when you benefit? That seems rather selfish. The avatar glitched, and again I saw Emma's face, clearer this time. She looked sad. 7 days, Daniel. Or we move to alternative enforcement measures. I'd hate for that to happen. You have such nice memories of Emma. It would be unfortunate if they started corrupting. Little glitches at first. Her face blurring in photos. Her voice distorting in your head. Eventually, you won't be able to remember what she looked like at all. Is that what you want? I tried to find a way out. I really did. I spent 3 days researching everything I could about Pact Forge, trying to trace the server, identify the people running it, find anything that would help me escape this nightmare. Nothing. The site used rotating nodes, military-grade encryption, and routing protocols I'd never seen before. Every time I thought I'd found a thread to pull, it disappeared. Files would corrupt. Connections would drop. Once, my entire laptop crashed and wouldn't restart for 12 hours. When it finally booted up, there was a new file on my desktop. It was a video of me vandalizing the grave, time-stamped and geotagged with perfect clarity. The file name was insurance.mp4. The message was clear. On the 4th day, I went to a bar, not to drink. I'd stopped trusting myself with alcohol, but I went because I'd seen the same woman there 3 times in the past week, always sitting alone, always looking like she was carrying the weight of the world. Her name was Rebecca. I learned that because she was crying into her phone when I sat down nearby, and I could hear her side of the conversation. Her daughter was sick, terminal. The insurance had stopped covering treatment. She was out of options. I am not proud of what I did next. I started a conversation, offered sympathy, let her talk. And when she was vulnerable enough, when she'd had just enough wine to be receptive, I mentioned that I'd heard about some unconventional options for desperate situations. That there were places on the internet where people with nowhere else to turn could find solutions. I gave her the tracking link. She looked at me with this strange expression, half hope, half horror, and asked me what kind of solutions. I told her I couldn't explain. She had to see for herself. That it sounded crazy, but it was real. That I was living proof. She took out her phone right there and clicked the link. I watched her face as the site loaded, watched her eyes widen, watched her scroll through the threads, her expression shifting from skepticism to something darker, something hungry. "This is real," she whispered. "Yes," I said, and hated myself for it. That night, Contractor Null sent me a message. "Verification, task 2, complete. Your referral has registered and posted her request. Well done. You're learning how this works, how it spreads. Each person brings another. Each desperate soul pulls in the next. It's quite elegant, really. A self-sustaining system." "What happens to her?" I typed. "The same thing that's happening to you. She'll complete her verification tasks. She'll get what she wants. And she'll pay what we ask. It's a fair trade, Daniel. Everyone gets what they deserve. Speaking of which, your next task is ready. This one's a bit more involved." A file downloaded automatically. It was a video file, encrypted. The decryption key appeared in the chat. Verification task 3, proof of conviction. You need to abduct someone. Don't worry. We'll tell you who and when. You'll bring them to a specific location and facilitate a game. A simple choice-based scenario. The details are in the video. You have 72 hours to complete this task. Oh, and Daniel? This one will be broadcast live on Pact Forge. All users will be watching. Think of it as a performance review. Fail, and your contract is terminated with extreme prejudice. Succeed, and you're one step closer to Emma. I didn't open the video for 2 hours. When I finally did, I wish I hadn't. The video showed a dimly lit room. It looked like an abandoned warehouse. In the center were 2 chairs with restraints already attached, a camera set up, and instructions in that same glitching text, narrated by a synthesized voice that made my skin crawl. The subject will be Nicole Patterson, age 32, accountant. She lives at 847 Cyclaire Avenue. She works late every Thursday. Abduction point is the parking garage beneath her office building, level B3, at approximately 8:45 p.m. this Thursday. Bring her to the location provided in the coordinates below. The video continued, explaining the game. Nicole would be given a choice between 2 doors. One would let her go free. One would trigger digital erasure. Everything about her wiped from existence, exactly as Contractor Null had described to me. She wouldn't know which was which. She'd just have to choose. Your job, the narration continued, is to make her choose. You can say anything, do anything, promise anything, but she must make a choice within 1 hour. If she refuses, you both get erased. If she chooses correctly, she goes free and you pass the verification. If she chooses incorrectly, well, you'll pass anyway, and we'll have a fascinating data point about human decision-making under duress. The video ended with coordinates and a reminder. Broadcast begins once subject is secured. All users will be watching. Don't disappoint us, Daniel. You're so close to talking to Emma again. Just this one task. Just one more compromise. I'm going to spare you the worst details of what happened next. Not because I want to protect myself. I deserve whatever judgment you're passing on me right now, but because I can't bear to write it all out. I'll say this. I told myself I wasn't going to do it, that I'd hit my limit, that even for Emma, even for one more conversation, I couldn't cross this line. But Wednesday night, I had a dream. Emma was standing in our kitchen, wearing the blue dress she'd worn on our first date, and she was crying. "Why won't you help me, Daniel?" She kept saying. "Why won't you come find me? I'm still here. I'm still here, and I'm so alone and you're just giving up." I woke up screaming. Thursday evening, I was parked on level B3 of the parking garage beneath the atrium office complex. I had rope, chloroform. It was surprisingly easy to get if you know where to look. I had the address of the warehouse contractor Null had specified, and a live video feed already connected to Pact Forge, showing my car's interior to hundreds of anonymous users, whose avatars were already flooding the chat with commentary. "First timer, this is gonna be good." Betting she picks left door. "How much soul debt is he in for this task? Anyone know? Doesn't matter. They never make it past task 5 anyway." At 8:47 p.m., Nicole Patterson walked out of the elevator toward her silver Honda Civic. I won't describe what I did. I can't. But by 9:30 p.m., she was zip-tied to a chair in the warehouse, and I was trying to explain to her, through her muffled screams and my own tears, that she had to choose a door, that it was the only way either of us survived. The live chat was going insane. "He's actually crying, Lo. She's gonna pick the wrong one. I can feel it. This is way better than last week's broadcast. Hey, anyone got the Erasure compilation video? The glitch effects are sick." Nicole was hyperventilating, her eyes wild with terror above the gag I'd used. I kept trying to explain that I didn't want to hurt her, that I just needed her to choose, that if she picked the right door she could go home and forget this ever happened. But how do you make someone trust you when you've just kidnapped them? How do you explain that you're trying to save them when you're the monster in their nightmare? I removed the gag. She immediately started screaming, so I put it back. Waited, removed it again. "Please," she gasped. "Please, I have a son. He's only 5. Please don't do this." That detail wasn't in the file contractor Null had given me. A 5-year-old son. Someone who'd grow up wondering what happened to his mother if she chose wrong. "You're going to see him again," I told her, my voice breaking. "You just have to choose. Left door or right door. That's all. I swear to you, one of them leads to freedom. And the other?" I couldn't tell her. Couldn't explain digital erasure. Couldn't make her understand that choosing wrong meant more than death. It meant never having existed at all. Her son would grow up with different memories, a different mother, or maybe no mother at all. She chose the right door. I know, because she's still out there somewhere. I checked later. Nicole Patterson still exists. Still has her job, her apartment, her photos on social media. Photos of her son. His name is Marcus. He's wearing a superhero cape and grinning at the camera. She probably reported the abduction, probably went to therapy, probably has nightmares about the masked man. I'd worn a ski mask, at least had that much sense. The man who tied her up and babbled about doors and digital erasure. But she exists. Marcus still has a mother. That's something. That's the one thing I can hold on to. Contractor Null's message came through as I was driving home, my hands still shaking. Verification. Task 3 complete. Excellent work, Daniel. The users enjoyed your performance. You're trending on the site. 847 viewers at peak. Several have already sent requests for you to handle their tasks. You're becoming quite popular. 2 more verifications, and you get your conversation with Emma. Isn't that wonderful? I bet you can almost hear her voice now. I could. That was the terrible part. When I closed my eyes, I could hear her saying my name. Task 4 arrived 3 days later. I'd barely eaten or slept. I just sat in the apartment, staring at Emma's photos, trying to convince myself that what I was doing was worth it, that the end justified the means. The chat window opened. Verification. Task 4. Cascade effect. You've recruited 1 user. Now it's time to ensure they're properly committed. Rebecca Torres, the woman from the bar, has received her first verification task. She's hesitating. You need to convince her to complete it. Her task is simple. She needs to steal medication from a pharmacy. Specific medication that her daughter's doctor won't prescribe for ethical reasons. Convince her within 24 hours, or you both face termination of contract. I found Rebecca's number from the bar's security footage. I hacked it. Another thing to add to my growing list of crimes, and I called her. She answered on the first ring. "Did you send me to that website?" she asked immediately. Her voice was raw. "Yes," I said. "I'm sorry, but it works. It's real. Whatever they're asking you to do. They want me to steal experimental drugs, drugs that haven't been approved. They say it will cure Lily, but the risks, and if I get caught, I lose everything. I go to jail, and Lily has nobody. You'll get caught if you don't do it," I heard myself say. "They'll erase you. Both of you. They'll make it like you never existed. Lily won't even remember having a mother. Is that what you want? There was a long silence. Then she asked, "How do you know this is real? How do you know they can actually do what they're claiming?" I thought about Nicole Patterson, about the grave I'd vandalized, about all the impossible things I'd already seen. "Because I've already done 3 tasks," I said. "And every time I thought about stopping, they showed me things. They knew things. They changed things. This is real, Rebecca. It's horrible and it's real. And if you don't complete your task, they'll delete you. They'll delete Lily. And I'll never get to talk to my wife again." "Your wife?" "She's dead. They promised me one conversation with her if I complete all my tasks. That's why I'm doing this. That's why you need to do your task too. Because we're both in too deep now." She was crying. I could hear it over the phone. "What kind of monster are you?" she whispered. "The same kind you're becoming," I said, and hung up. She completed her task. I got the confirmation from contractor Null 6 hours later, along with a video file labeled cascade_success_torres.mp4 that I've never opened and never will. Task 5 was different. The message came with an attachment. It was a data file containing what looked like user records. Names, addresses, requests they'd made. People who joined PactForge and then backed out. People who tried to report the site to authorities. People who'd attempted to expose it. Verification. Task 5. Quality control. We have a problem with defectors. People who take our resources, waste our time, and then try to undermine the system. Your task is to select 3 individuals from this list and ensure they complete their outstanding verification tasks. By any means necessary. You have 1 week. The methods are up to you. Be creative. And Daniel, this is the last verification task. Complete this, and you get your conversation with Emma. I promise. The list contained 47 names. I recognized 2 of them. They were users I'd seen in the PactForge forums who'd suddenly stopped posting. One was a woman in Seattle who'd requested help finding her missing sister. One was a man in Austin who'd wanted revenge on his business partner. Contractor Null had marked 3 names for me. 1, Catherine Mills, Portland, Oregon. 2, James Chen, San Francisco, California. 3, Vincent Shaw, Denver, Colorado. Each file contained their personal information, their original requests, and the verification tasks they'd refused to complete. Each also contained something else. Livestream links. I was expected to broadcast my quality control measures just like I'd broadcast Nicole's game. And the chat was already filling up with users eager to watch. Finally, another task 5. These are always the best. Betting the SF target fights back. OP seems weak though. Might not have the stomach for this one. Doesn't matter. Either he does it, or he gets erased too. Win-win for us. I stared at the screen for hours. This was it. This was the line I couldn't cross, forcing strangers to complete demonic tasks, hunting them down, probably hurting them, or worse. But I was so close. One more task. Just one more, and I'd get to talk to Emma. Except something had been bothering me. A detail I'd noticed, but hadn't fully processed. In the user list, there were annotations next to some names. Status indicators. Active, completed, terminated, erased. And one other status I'd seen multiple times, archived. I did something stupid. I searched the database for Emma's name. Emma Rose Mitchell Cross. Status, archived. Original request, help my husband accept my death and move forward with his life. Contract holder, contractor null. Verification tasks, 7 out of 7 completed. Date archived, July 14th, 2024, 2:47 p.m. The exact time of her death. My hands went numb. I scrolled down, finding more details. Task 1. Establish digital presence in target's devices. Task 2. Corrupt target's support network through subtle influence. Task 3. Introduce target to Pact Forge through carefully placed breadcrumbs. Task 4. Facilitate target's descent through verification tasks. Task 5. The file was corrupted, glitching, but I could see enough. Emma had made a deal. Before she died, or maybe as she was dying, she'd made a deal to help me move forward. And Contractor Null had twisted that deal into this, into making me into a monster, into making me recruit others, into building this network of horror. The chat window opened without me clicking anything. Ah, you found the records. I was wondering when you'd get curious enough to look. Smart boy. Yes, Daniel. Emma made a deal. She wanted you to heal, to stop hurting. And technically, this qualifies, doesn't it? You're certainly not mourning anymore. You're far too busy for that. You're lying. Emma would never. Never what? Make a deal to help the person she loved most. Oh, Daniel, that's exactly what she'd do. That's why I chose her. That's why her contract was so valuable. She genuinely, selflessly wanted to help you. No ulterior motives. Pure love. Do you know how rare that is? How powerful? The avatar shifted, and this time it held the form of Emma's face. Not glitching, not corrupted. Perfect. She was crying. Daniel, please stop. Emma's voice came through my speakers. It was her actual voice, not synthesized, not AI generated. It was her. Please, just log off. Please stop doing this. They tricked me. They told me they'd help you find peace, and instead, they're destroying you. Please, I'm begging you. See. Contractor Null's text appeared beneath the video. She's here. She's been here the whole time, watching you complete every task, watching you vandalize that grave, watching you terrorize Nicole Patterson, watching you corrupt Rebecca Torres, all in her name, all because you couldn't let her go. I didn't want this, Emma's voice sobbed. I just wanted you to be okay, to find someone else, to live your life. Daniel, please, you have to stop. You have to log off before you become like me, before you can't leave. Complete task 5, the text continued, and you can join her permanently in the archive, together forever in our digital purgatory. Isn't that what you wanted? To be with her again? Or you can refuse, and we'll erase you both. Your choice, Daniel. You have 48 hours to decide. The targets are already marked. The live stream is scheduled. All you have to do is show up. I'm writing this from the apartment. It's been 46 hours since that conversation. I have 2 hours left to make my choice. I know what I should do. I should smash the laptop, burn it, throw it in the ocean, Call the police, even though I know they won't be able to help. I've tried. Every time I try to report Pact Forge to authorities, the website crashes, or my phone glitches, or the cops suddenly can't see what I'm showing them. The site protects itself. I should warn Catherine and James and Vincent, except I can't. Every time I try to contact them, my messages won't send. The site won't let me. I should just accept erasure. Let them delete me. It's what I deserve after what I've done. But I can hear Emma. She's in the speakers, in the walls, in my head, crying, begging me to log off, begging me not to complete Task 5, because if I do, I'll be trapped just like her. A digital ghost. A corrupted file. Forever. And yet, if I log off, I lose her. If I refuse the task, they erase us both, and we're gone. But if I complete it, if I hunt down those 3 people and force them to finish their own horrible tasks, then I can talk to her, really talk to her, even if it means becoming a prisoner in Pact Forge's database, even if it means becoming a recruiter just like she was forced to be. At least we'd be together. That's the real horror of this, isn't it? They've designed it perfectly. Every choice leads to more suffering. Every path is corrupted. There's no good option, only degrees of damnation. The live stream is scheduled to begin in 90 minutes. Catherine Mills is having dinner at her usual restaurant in Portland. James Chen is at a gym in San Francisco. Vincent Shaw is at home in Denver. Contractor Null has provided me with everything I need. Their schedules, their vulnerabilities, their fears. All I have to do is show up, complete the task. Damn 3 more people to save the person I love. The cursor is blinking in the chat window. Hundreds of users are waiting, watching, betting on what I'll do. And Emma is crying in the static, begging me to walk away. I don't know what I'm going to do. That's a lie. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to post this somewhere first. Reddit, Twitter, anywhere people might see it. Might believe it. Might understand what Pact Forge is and stay away from it. I'm going to warn everyone I can in the time I have left. And then, I don't know. Maybe I'm weak. Maybe I'm already too corrupted to save. Maybe grief really is stronger than morality. But I can still hear her voice. And I miss her so much. If you're reading this, please, if you ever see a link to Pact Forge, if someone ever tells you about a place where you can make deals to solve your problems, if you're ever desperate enough to think about trading something for the impossible, don't. Whatever you want isn't worth what they'll take. Whatever they promise isn't what you'll get. And whatever you think you're agreeing to is just the beginning of an endless spiral into darkness. I thought I was making a deal for one conversation. I was really selling my soul one compromise at a time. And now I'm out of compromises to make. The timer just appeared on my screen. 00012743. I have to decide. God help me. I have to decide. Update 10 minutes later. I can't do it. I can't hunt down those people. I can't keep feeding this thing. I'm logging off. I'm smashing the laptop. If they erase me, so be it. At least I'll stop the cycle with myself. Emma, if somehow you can still hear me after I'm gone, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't save you. I'm sorry I let them use your memory to make me into this. I'm sorry I was too weak to let you go when I should have. but I won't let them use me to hurt anyone else. I smashed the laptop, destroyed the hard drive, but the chat window just appeared on my phone, on my tablet, on every screen in the apartment. Emma's face is on all of them, glitching, corrupting. Daniel, no, please don't log off. They're making me watch. They're making me recruit. They're using my face to bring in more people. If you log off, I'll still be here. I'll still be trapped. They'll make me do this forever. Please, Daniel, please just complete the task. Please, let us be together. Please, I can't be alone here anymore. I can't. The screens are all showing the same thing now. A countdown. 00, 00, 15, 00. 15 minutes until they erase me. Unless I complete task 5. Unless I get in my car right now and drive to Portland. Unless I give them what they want. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I can't let her be alone in there forever. I'm getting in the car. God forgive me. This is the Curator. I hope you've enjoyed today's scary story. Until next time.